Hello, Chris Green here with the Flood Insurance Guru. Today we're here in St. Simons Island. We're talking about, is flood insurance required here on the island? Sounds crazy, doesn't it? But in fact, in many areas of the island, it's actually not required. I mean, you're on an island, right? But you see, you've got these different flood zones throughout the island. You might have like a V zone where we're right here on the water. Then you might have an A zone, which is still that 100-year flood zone, but it doesn't involve coastal flooding from wave velocity. Then you might have what's called Flood Zone X. And yes, there is some of that on the island where it's a minimum risk zone. But a lot of people, when they hear minimum risk, they think no risk. Well, in fact, several years ago, a lot of these areas actually experienced flooding when they were hit with back-to-back hurricanes one year and the next year. So just because you might be in a Flood Zone X here on St. Simons does not mean you're not at risk of flooding. Sure, it might mean you have a lower risk, but with it being a relatively flat area, when it comes to hurricanes, 10, 15 inches of rain, it doesn't matter what flood zone you're in. So when it comes to flood insurance being required on the island, generally where it's going to be required is if you have a mortgage or additional interest and you're in what's called that special flood hazard area. This is going to be your A zones and your V zones. So remember, even though you're in X and it's not required, it's still recommended to take out. And the good news is it's actually usually very reasonable. Even if it's a secondary property for you, may only be talking $700, $800 at least until NFIP risk rating 2.0 comes out. Because when it comes out, you can see a big difference on the distance to water compared to what your flood insurance premiums will be. So if you've got questions about what your flood insurance options are, how to understand your flood risk analysis, and what's at threat, click below to visit our website, floodinsuranceguru.com. Remember, we have an educational background in flood mitigation, which means we can help you understand flood risk like this right here. Your flood insurance and mitigating your property long term. Thank you.